Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are on Monday, March 4th. We're going to take a look at Target today. So with earnings coming up, I thought we would come and see where Target might hit some support or resistance, depending on if it booms or busts, and even some levels that it might sort of pin itself to if it moves relatively sideways. So Target got beat up a little bit today, down over 3%, but we'll see if that plays any factor in the earnings since we're so near into it. I'm going to add one more level. I just noticed that there's a pretty big gap in here, and not an actual gap, just a gap in my levels. So I want to see. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so let's just get the bearish scenario out of the way. So the nearest in level that I have is 150.87. It finished today at 150.41. That'll obviously quickly change when the earnings report comes out. But if it does flip that to resistance, 140.82, 130.39, 123.66 gets it into this gap, and it fills that at about 111.48. So there's going to be a level in that gap here at about 118.30 or so, where it might, maybe it could give itself a chance to partially fill it and then pop back out. I don't even know if that's what you'd want it to do at that point, but that could be there, just so you know. The reason I'm pointing out some of these additional levels is I didn't want to clutter up the chart too much and put in every single little level. There's already quite a few on here. And so to make it sort of visually workable, I tried to pull out what I felt were the stronger levels based on what I'm seeing on the chart. That said, there's probably another level here about 135, FYI, in case it drops about 15 bucks and starts to sort of manage itself from there. Now, if it does pop off, it starts to push 158.62, 169.37, 177.27, and 183.43 look like some strong levels to me. I don't think I put in anything above that. No, there is, again, this huge gap here, the day where it fell almost 25%, just crazy. But it appears to me that was off of an earnings reaction. So it certainly has the ability to have some super strong reactions to earnings. So that gap would be significant. It's partially filled, obviously, but that would bring it all the way up to about 190. What is that? 190. I can't see it because it's right over. I think 198.59. Does that make sense? Yeah, 198.59 or so would fill that gap. So, if it really gets some motion in the ocean and starts to move in that direction and folks are interested and it breaks through this 183 level, let me know in the comments. Be happy to come back and take a look if folks are interested. Now, on the think or swim side of things, we see back here, good call by the TTM squeeze indicator, triggering with the price pinned to the mid-range of the channel. It's always what you like to see. A little move, and then it fired, and it popped it right out of the channel. Huge move up, rode that wave up until today. And it did have, not a brief, a fairly lengthy trigger and fire happen again. To me, that's appears as though at the moment at least that may be sort of a misfire, is what I call them, when triggers and fires and you don't get the outsized reaction like we saw here. Sometimes what we see then is a re-trigger and a refire, and that's where the move really happens. So sometimes when we catch this trigger and fire, where yes, it still continued to climb up, but again, we're looking for moves like this off of the TTM squeeze indicator. And when we don't get that, we get something a bit more mundane, even if it was a decent, push or pull, I am going to be looking for potentially, again, price pinning to the mid-range of the channel and starting to trigger again. And if it gets some lengthy trigger in there, maybe we get some sort of post-earnings reaction, either replay or rebound or, retracement, anything that starts with RE, apparently. So, but that's sort of down the road, kind of something to keep an eye on. Now, it is pushed to the upper bound of the channel right now, stretched down a bit toward the mid-range of the channel, But, if these levels come into play at all, the upper bound of that channel right now is at about 155. The lower bound is about 142.69. This channel is dynamic, so it does shift when price action gets put in. So just know, depending on when you're watching this, it might not be exactly there. But we'll see how the market wants to react to, whatever's in the report based on the fact of, pretty recent run up and that it's pushed toward the upper bound of the channel, at the moment. We'll see if that plays any factor or if, the reaction to earnings is a big enough catalyst that it can sort of exist in a bubble in and of itself. And we can regroup after the dust settles. All right, folks, I hope that your trading week is off to a good start. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.